The Tennessee Titans will be selecting Cam Ward #1 overall, and it's time for a full scouting report. I'm going to tell you what Cam Ward does best, what he needs to improve, and how he fits in Brian Callahan's offense on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. On today's show, it is time to kick off the 2025 Locked On Titans NFL Draft Preview Series. We are going to start with the quarterback position, and I want to do a full episode on Cam Ward. I'm going to go over the generational playmaking he brings to the table and what is so exciting about Cam Ward as a prospect. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that need to be cleaned up at the next level. Also, we'll talk about how he fits in Brian Callahan's system and what things from his college tape work into what the Titans do on Sundays. Before I dive into Cam Ward's scouting report, I do want to thank you for making Locked On Titans your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there. Tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you aren't an everydayer, you need to be one because, again, I'm going to go position by position through the day 1, day 2, day 3 options for the Tennessee Titans, leading all the way up to the draft in just a couple of weeks. You want to be as informed as possible heading into the draft. You can do it here on the Locked On Titans podcast. But with that being said, when we talk about what Cam Ward brings to the table, so number one, Cam Ward, 6'1", 5 inches, 219 pounds, a great build. Is it prototypical size for an NFL quarterback? No, but I think we've seen throughout the last few years over and over and over again that you don't need to be the 6'4" behemoth that previous generations of the NFL thought that you had to be a successful quarterback. A ton of quarterbacks and the most successful quarterbacks don't necessarily meet that prototypical size, but Cam Ward is big enough. He's built thick as well, which I think will make him be durable at the NFL level. He can take the shots. He can take the beating that is an NFL season. So from a physical standpoint, his size, stature, I like what we have here from Cam Ward. It's nothing to be concerned about in any way. It's perfectly fine. It checks the box. But when you get to the type of player that he is, when you turn on the tape, what are you getting from Cam Ward? Well, the number one thing that stands out, it's truly generational playmaking. I'm not saying that Cam Ward is a generational prospect. I'm saying his knack for playmaking and his second reaction ability and his ability to throw from different arm angles and different arm slots in different places. It's not even just different arm angles. There's a play against Cal, the game-winning touchdown against Cal, where he is literally throwing the ball. His arm is in front of the pass rusher, and he's finding a window between the edge rusher and the interior rusher, and he's throwing it between them for a quick screen that turns into a touchdown and the game-winning touchdown and a massive comeback. Like, his ability not only to throw from different arm angles, but then, of course, to play sandlot football and to literally go from one side of the field to the other side of the field and backtrack and throw across his body and keep plays alive and find guys down the field and let his wide receivers run. It really is backyard football, okay? Now, there's downsides to that style of play, but his ability to offer that to this team, the playmaking, to win in the NFL nowadays, you have to have off-schedule playmaking. Think Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, like the quarterbacks that were left, Jaden Daniels, the quarterbacks that make it to the very end, have some sort of, when the play breaks down, what can you do? And Cam Ward's ability to bring that to the table is generational, quite frankly. His ability to play with different arm angles when he throws the ball, find different windows to get the ball out, extend plays, keep plays alive. It's unbelievable. And that's why you see a lot of people compare him to Steve McNair, because his ability to keep plays alive and the way that he does it, shrugging off defenders and moving back and forth throughout the pocket, it's incredible. And the poise is what allows him to do it. Cam Ward is constantly confident, cool, and clutch. so many comebacks this year where his team got down because the defense wasn't great. There were mistakes made by the offense as well, but Cam Ward was able to lead his team to a ton of comebacks. And when you watch him in the pocket, he makes these back foot throws and these nonchalant plays is what I'll call it, where he just doesn't seem like he's trying that hard. And he just has such a great understanding. It does remind me in some ways of Luka Doncic in basketball, where Luka isn't the most insane, explosive, freakish athlete. He's not as explosive as LeBron James was, but he's just so calm, so cool. The game is going so slow for him that he's able to see things so clearly, and it allows him to play with that nonchalant style where it looks like he's not playing super hard, but really he's just so many steps ahead of his competition. So he's always cool, always keeps his composure, manages the pocket, makes plays in the clutch all the time. He's just always going to be a steady metronome for the offense. And when you have that sort of steady personality, not only leading your offense, but leading your franchise, it's hard to turn that down when you have the number one pick, right? And then, of course, he has a laser arm. Now, I will say, he's not going to be a top 5 arm in the NFL immediately. I don't even know if he would be a top 10 arm in the NFL, but I would say he's above average. He's probably somewhere from 8 to 16, probably 10 to 16 would be more fair, but his ability to throw the ball to any place on the field is unquestioned. You're not worried about Cam Ward having the arm to make all the throws. And to see some of the throws that he made on tape where college hash marks are wider than NFL hash marks. So some throws, he's on the far hash mark and he's throwing all the way across the field to the other sideline, and it's on a rope. It's a spiral on a rope. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff. Yes, Cam Ward won't have the arm that maybe Patrick Mahomes does, or Cam Ward won't have the arm that Will Levis has to drive the ball down the field and with velocity. But it's a plus arm in the NFL. His arm isn't going to be a concern at the next level. So when you have the ability to make all the throws and then you add in the mobility that Cam Ward brings to the table, and again, it's not elite mobility. We're not talking about Josh Allen, or we're not talking about Jaden Daniels. We're not talking about Lamar Jackson. But I would compare it to Patrick Mahomes' level of mobility. I would compare it to Dak Prescott level of mobility. I would compare it for a throwback to Donovan McNabb level of mobility, Tony Romo level of mobility, Adante Culpepper level of mobility. He can get out of the pocket. He can use his legs. He can pick up yards when it's available. He's not going to outrun a cornerback to the corner. Him and linebackers are going to be racing to the spot. But he's smart about how he uses his running. He's smart about how he uses his legs. And again, he's got a thick, sturdy frame. So he can, power through a little bit if he needs to. And he's smart enough and the game's going slow enough where he can make a guy miss who maybe is faster than him just because he's playing smart. So the mobility is a plus on his card, and the arm is a plus on his card, even if they're not elite traits in their own. So I'm giving him massive credit. Those are pros on his card and on his report. The production, man. Led the nation in touchdown passes with 39 in his final year at Miami. Over his career, 66% completion percentage, 11,281 yards, 87 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, 400 rushing yards, 17 rushing touchdowns, and that's Miami in the 2 years at Washington. That's elite production. If you're somebody who's like, oh, what'd they do at the college level? Well, all he did was lead 2 programs to respectability, put Miami back on the map, won a ton of games, and put up a bunch of great stats. So if you're somebody who's just like, oh, what'd they do at the college level? Did they produce? Or they weren't even good. Cam Ward was good in college. He was excellent in college, finished 4th in the Heisman voting, won the Davey O'Brien, won the Manning Award. This is an elite, decorated college player. And then you add in the mental aspect. His leadership. We talked about the story from Michael Irvin telling his wide receiver to get down to camp. You see the clips on the sideline of him motivating his team and getting his team ready to go. He doesn't seem like a guy who does it for the cameras on purpose. He seems super authentic and genuine. And that's why his teammates love him. He's willing to study. He's a guy who's in the film room first, on the practice field first. He showed up to his pro day hours early to get ready, get the script right, be ready to go, be prepared. And he loves football. He loves football. So the playmaking, the confidence, the calm demeanor, the physical traits with the mobility in the arm, the elite college production, the adaptability to go from Incarnate Word as a 0-star recruit to Washington State to Miami and be loved at every place and be a leader at every place and produce at every place. Like the journey, the production, the mental makeup, the football character, the physical traits. What else could you want? He's bringing all that to the table. Now, there are things that he needs to improve on, though. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by Chewy. You've probably heard of Chewy. They really do have everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Whether you're shopping for food, treats, or even pet health care like I did recently, Chewy makes it fast, easy, and affordable with over 100,000 products from all your favorite brands. Chewy has everything your pet needs, from food to treats to toys to beds to grooming. And it's not just for dogs and cats. They've got supplies for birds, fish, reptiles, and small pets too. They can help you manage your pet's health, prescriptions, telehealth visits, even in-person clinics rolling out nationwide. Plus, they have an auto ship feature that's a game changer. You can automatically set up deliveries for foods, treats, essentials so that you never run out. I personally had to buy some liver supplements for my dog recently due to a surgery that he had. And Chewy made it super easy to get those. They were delivered on time, and my dog's feeling a lot better. Chewy has everything you need to keep your pet happy and healthy. Right now, you could save $20 on your first order and get free shipping by going to chewy.com and clicking the link in the description. Save $20 on your first order with free shipping by clicking the link in the description. Minimum purchase required. New customers only. Terms and conditions apply. See site for complete details. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. A little scouting report for Cam Ward. I have gone through Cam Ward's tape twice now. I've watched some games 3 times. I feel as prepared to have conversations about Cam Ward as I've ever been. Very excited by what I saw, but there are certainly things that need to be cleaned up. And again, I know that the way that this works sometimes is people say, oh, well, I know that Cam Ward's going to be a Titan, so any criticism that anybody has for Cam Ward, I'm shoving it. It's dumb. It's stupid. He's great. No, we're not listening. Look, with every player, even a guy like Mahomes, there are things that they do well. There are things that they don't do as well that they need to improve upon. It's a real thing. No player is truly a perfect player. So keep that in mind when we go over this stuff. And do want to let you guys know, I am going to be putting out a full film breakdown on Cam Ward. I'm going to go over all of this stuff that I'm talking about on my Tic Tac Titans film channel on YouTube on Tuesday. So that's going to be out at some point, either early in the morning or midday. It's going to be available, but it's probably going to be 45 minutes the way that I go on about Cam Ward. But again, the tape to match up with the conversation we're having right now, and I do that Tic Tac Titans film channel on YouTube, so get subscribed to that if you want to match this stuff up. But talking about what needs to get better. So the number one thing, obviously, is the decision making. Cam Ward just makes some crazy decisions. I mean, there's a play in that Cal game. The Cal game, in my opinion, if you want to watch one game to truly understand the good and the bad of Cam Ward, I think Cal is the one that gives it to you, because there is a play in that game where he misses a couple of guys not playing on time, could have gotten the ball out multiple times, twice, and then starts to extend the play when he should have already had the ball out of his hands, and then throws a cross-bodied throw all the way across the field, up in the air, and it gets intercepted and taken back for a pick six. Like, just insanity. Like, what are we doing? Okay? Now, that stuff got better at the end of the year. Like, it improved throughout the season, which is great. But it's a double-edged sword. And I don't know about you guys, but some of my best qualities can also sometimes be my worst qualities. Okay? And Cam Ward's best quality is that generational playmaking knack and his sandlot ability. But sometimes he leans on it too much. And I think in college, he could get away with it because it's college, but at the NFL level, a much larger percentage of those sandlot opportunities that he created and takes are going to turn into bad plays because it's the NFL. The windows are smaller. The guys are faster. You can't just constantly back up and run from one side of the field to the other side of the field like it's Madden. You're not going to be able to, he's going to be able to do that because that's his game. That's his bag. But it's not going to work as well as it did in college. So the decision making and when to take those chances, when to extend those plays, when to let the play die, going from college to the NFL, that will be the biggest challenge for Cam Ward, in my opinion, is tuning the decision making on those big time opportunities and those second reaction plays, which is something that a guy like Patrick Mahomes had to do. Like that, it's something that a lot of college quarterbacks who can play, Caleb Williams is trying to do it right now. Figuring out how to tune that is important. But with that, within that decision making, if Cam Ward can play on time more, early in the season specifically, there are a lot of times where he can extend the play, so he does. When in reality, the better play and the better NFL play will be to play on time. Hit the check down, hit the quick in route, hit the dump off. Like, don't try so hard to extend things. So playing on time and playing within the structure of the offense more often is something he's going to have to do at the NFL level. And that in itself will make the decision-making easier, and it'll limit the opportunities that he has to make bad decisions if he just starts to play on time and trust the offense and just, dump it off, get the ball out of his hands a little bit more often. What you don't want to do is you don't want to take, a sprinter and make him do long distance. Like, we don't want to take away Cam Ward's best asset and put him in a box and put him in a cage. You don't want to do that, but it's about just tinkering it a little bit, adjusting it a little bit, which is something like a Josh Allen went through with the turnovers and the decision making. It's different for Cam Ward and the decisions that are being made, but that's important. Also, got to clean up the footwork. That's just a mechanical thing. And I will tell you, I am not a quarterback guru. I am not out here telling, look at the mechanics of the quarterback. But there are people smarter than me who study quarterbacks who you can go watch. Like a guy like Kurt Warner does great work on YouTube. But Kurt Warner has talked about the footwork and making sure because Cam, when we talk about the calm, cool, poise, demeanor, the nonchalant style of play that he has, that can result in some bad plays as well, because he doesn't necessarily feel like he needs to get his feet set all the time. And he feels like he can throw with these different arm angles and falling away on the back foot and sliding to the left and throwing right, or rolling out to the left and throwing back right on a crossbody, different things like that. He feels like he can do all of that because he's so confident in his demeanor and he's calm and he's poised and he's ready to accomplish it. But there are certain windows that's not going to work for in the NFL. You're going to have to get your feet in a better place. And there are some little inaccuracies that Cam Ward has at times on film where it's an easy throw, like a little check down to a running back, and he just throws it behind him. Or, he's got a wide open crosser and it's a little behind him because he just isn't getting his feet set because he feels like he can make it. You're just going to have to clean that up and be a little bit better at the NFL level. But the next thing that I want to talk about is the physical stuff, because as I talked about in the first segment, he's got a laser arm, he's got good mobility, but neither of those traits are elite. He's not going to have a top 5 arm. He's not going to have a cannon. And there are some throws on tape, especially deep throws down the field when he's got a guy beat downfield. I'm not talking about a post route or a crosser underneath the deep field safety. I'm talking about a go route down the sideline. Got a guy wide open, and he'll throw it up a little too high. He doesn't drive it down the field quite as much as a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes, the big bazookas in the league that can really fire it downfield. So, really good arm. Can laser it anywhere on the field. But his deep accuracy does need to get a little bit better because he can't just out-throw everybody. And it's on tape. So the arm is good. The mobility is good. But neither of them are elite, in my opinion. Okay? And that shows up with the deep outside throws. Like I'm talking about, that is the worst area, the worst kind of throw that Cam Ward has is a deep throw on the sideline. He just isn't consistent enough there. He's good in the intermediate and the deep areas over the middle of the field, but to the outside, he really starts to struggle. And again, that's the arm strength is not elite. It's just really good. It's above average. It's not elite. And that we see struggles with the accuracy on the deep outside because I think he knows he has to put a little more into it to get it where he wants it. And that can mess with the accuracy. And if the footwork is better and he's throwing off a better platform, maybe that all cleans up at the next level. But it is something to watch. It is something to watch for sure. And, everybody from college to the NFL has to process a little faster. But Cam Ward was not great under pressure. And I don't mean the pressure of a game. I mean pressure in the pocket. He was good against the blitz, but when he actually he would fade back so much that he was rarely under pressure. When he was under pressure, he definitely took a dip in his production. So processing faster so he feels less pressure, that'll be good for him. Also, it's fair to say he played in the ACC. It's a weak schedule. Can he afford to be as nonchalant at the NFL? Can he rely on the playmaking and the just good athleticism as much at the NFL level? Will he be able to clean up the feet consistently to just play more on time and have less issues with the little accuracy things? Those are all big questions. Those are all things that need to improve. Now, I think the good stuff certainly outweighs those questions that we have. But ultimately, it's about Cam Ward fitting within the Tennessee Titans system. And I think there are a lot of things on tape that show that Cam Ward is a scheme fit for what Brian Callahan wants to do and wants to be philosophically. Do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbooks. Folks, the NBA playoffs are almost here. Go Lakers. And FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel, place your first $5 bet and you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Again, place your first $5 bet and you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. You can do three-pointers, steals, assists. I love the stat combos where you can go for double-doubles and things like that. But whatever it is, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. I've been hammering the Luka Doncic three-pointers, baby. You know it. Plus, even after the game tips off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Make sure that you don't miss out, and you head to FanDuel.com to claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Again, that's FanDuel.com. Titans fans, let's cap off today's Cam Ward Scouting Recap edition. Cam Ward Scouting Report edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We've gone over what makes Cam Ward special, what Cam Ward does well. We've gone over some of the things that need to get cleaned up that he didn't do as well in college that could still improve. But now I want to talk about his fit with what Brian Callahan does, because I was listening to a conversation the other day. I think it was John Ledyard and Greg Rosenthal on the new NFL Daily or whatever. They were talking about quarterbacks, and Ledyard was saying he doesn't know how Cam Ward fit in Brian Callahan's offense. What is Brian Callahan's offense was a question that was asked. I think that's the right show. I listen to so much NFL content. It's hard to keep it all together. But, what is Brian Callahan's offense? Will it fit? And I got to tell you, I think it is a clean fit. I think Cam Ward does fit very well in Brian Callahan's offense. Now, as a reminder, I'm going to be showing you on tape how Cam Ward fits in Brian Callahan's offense with my Cam Ward scouting breakdown that will come out on the Tic Tac Titans film channel on Tuesday. So make sure that you get subscribed over there, set the notifications, get ready for that. It's going to be a long one. But I'm going to go over all this stuff. But the two-man game, just the quick little routes. There's two wide receivers on one side of the field. Think about it's cover two. The outside receiver runs a vertical route down the sideline. The inside receiver, the slot, runs a quick out route. If it's cover 2 and the outside cornerback is playing flat, then they're going to come up on the out route, and that's going to leave a hole to hit the go route down the sideline. If that cornerback is playing cover 3 or cover 4 and they drop back with the vertical route down the sideline, then you're going to be able to quickly hit the out route. Brian Callahan runs what I would call a modern West Coast spread. That's what he did with the Bengals. That's what the Bengals are doing. It's basically a West Coast offense with the quick timing, accurate passing. You want to use the quick passing game as an extension of the run game because there's more upside, more efficiency. But also there's a spread nature to it because of the use of shotgun. So Brian Callahan is basically taking a spread shotgun offense, applying West Coast principles from the West Coast offense from, like Bill Walsh and the 49ers in the 80s and 90s. And then you're adding in Bill Callahan's diverse power run game. It's a combination of those two things together to make what Brian Callahan's offense is. So I think Cam Ward fits very, very well in all of that because Cam Ward consistently hit these quick little games on the outside like what I'm describing. He quickly hit those little out routes and, hey, I'm going to read the cornerback, and if the cornerback does this or does that, that's where my read is. He did that a ton. Also, the Titans do things like that against linebackers where they put the linebacker in conflict, where your inside receiver is going to do a quick curl route, and the linebacker, in theory, could bite up on that curl route. And then you're going to run an in route behind that linebacker so that if the linebacker bites up inside, you can hit the crossing route behind it. Cam Ward consistently, while not having exactly those, Cam Ward consistently on tape hit inside these traffic windows with these quick little breaking crosser routes over the middle where there's an underneath guy pulling a guy up and then a medium guy and then a deep guy. And he's constantly looking at, is the deep, is the medium, is the underneath open, and making those decisions based on reading specific players and specific coverages. And that is exactly what Brian Callahan is going to ask him to do, is just read one guy and then make the decision on who's open and get the ball out of your hands. And he demonstrated the ability to do that on tape consistently, in my opinion. Also, screens. The Titans want to use screens, whether it's a little dump off to the running back, whether it's a quick screen out to the wide receiver. The Titans want to use these things, which are elements of spread offense. Those quick little screens. And Cam Ward was awesome on those quick little screens. Just quick, get the ball out. And that's included in the RPO game, which we'll talk about in a second. But also, Brian Callahan loves crossers. He loves crossing routes. He wants to cross over the middle of the field. And that's what Miami did all year long. Miami's offense was a vertical offense. It was RPO game, it was screen game, or it was vertical shots downfield. Tons of crossing routes. Tons of post corner routes where wide receivers are crossing. They would run these crazy, it's like a post, but without the vertical stem and then break in. It's just a straight cross, a deep, deep cross. I can't call it a crossing route because it's not really cross. It's like a post route, but you go directly to it. And mixing that in at different levels. So I think those are all things that Cam Ward did in college that Brian Callahan wants to do, and he did them well. The Titans need to add more RPO, though, because along with those screens, those quick screens, the RPO game, handoff or get it out. Cam Ward does it so well and operates it so well and has done it for so long that it would be silly to not incorporate that into the offense. You're going to have to do more shotgun. Cam Ward hasn't done a ton under center. I think he can, but he's going to be more confident in gun. And honestly, Brian Callahan wants to be in shotgun. That's what he thinks is best, is shotgun. So that means less play action shots down the field, less like two-man only, not the two-man concepts we talked about, but where there's literally only two guys in routes and they're crossing after a deep play action fake like we saw with Will Levis all the time. That's not what – you don't want Cam Ward's back to the defense because he reads the defense so well. That means you're going to need more wide receivers and less tight ends. You're going to need more speed to take the top off the defense and have Cam Ward attacking that intermediate. I think intermediate over the middle of the field is where Cam Ward's at his best. So open that area up with more speed by getting guys who could take the top off of the zone and push that deep safety back. Push that deep half safety back. Open up that middle of the field. So those are just things I think the Titans are going to need to do more of. But that's my full scouting report on Cam Ward. Again, check out the film breakdown that I'm going to be putting out on Tuesday at Tic Tac Titans on YouTube. I hope you guys enjoy. But that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.